are sent away empty. He has helped his servant Israel in remembrance of his mercy, as he spoke to our fathers, to Abraham and his offspring forever.
Thousands and thousands of people have taken to the streets to say goodbye for the last time, and of course everyone will be able to visit St. Mary Major and visit Pope Francis's tomb. But this really is, you know, the day that we are dedicating to him to say goodbye. And Rome, and not only Rome, the faithful have really come out for that.
Very symbolically also, we know that a group of mostly poor people who are assisted by charities will be at St. Mary Major to welcome him to his final resting place. The Pope of the peripheries, the Pope of the people is very aptly receiving
carrying the Pope, and then above what I believe to be the Vatican Gardens, the Pope's Gardens, this beautiful green area which I'm sure he must have wandered through so often, and it's beautiful to have them both together as he makes his way to St. Mary Major. There really are a lot of people out there. You can hear the applause as he makes his way down.
He was saying for action. So yes, he traveled to the peripheries of the city, going to visit prisoners, going to visit elderly people, poor people, always welcoming refugees, but he also traveled across the world to the remotest and furthest away places from the Vatican, obviously, that is. And people always came out in floods to welcome him. I'll never forget landing in Timor-Leste, which is a tiny and new country, and the entire the half of the entire population, 750,000 people, came to the mass. Floods of people just there to welcome him. Very moving.
And they're countries that are so far off the grid, we barely even hear of them. And another gesture that one of his final gestures was he visited the prison. He went to Regina Coeli, I believe, which is a prison in the Trastevere area of Rome, not too far from the Vatican. And it's a symbolic gesture that he does every year at Easter, and of course with him having been unwell, we weren't sure whether he would have done, and the fact that he did meant so much to prisoners worldwide, but all marginalized people. And I think the Pope himself said, you know, it could have been me, it could have been anyone in your position, and that awareness that he had and that he transmitted to the people who were suffering the most, I think is one of the greatest legacies that he could be leaving behind.
And it's really fitting that the people who will welcome him and say their goodbye at St. Mary Major are, as you've mentioned, the people who suffer, the homeless, migrants, people who are marginalized. So people who've met him before as well. We've been told around 30 of them will be there. There might be more or less, but some of them have actually met Pope Francis. Sometimes before going on an apostolic journey or during religious feasts, he would have them over at Santa Marta and meet with them just to...
He's crossing the bridge. He's crossing the Tiber.
We see, yes.
Yeah. This is the beginning of the Via Corso Vittorio Emanuele. He's passing here. Gone to some very symbolic places.
Indeed, and he's just, as you mentioned, crossed over the river. We saw that beautiful drone photography and that live video that we'll have more of here. And
yes, it's remarkable. Also, it's the first papal funeral, can we say, with this advanced technology, digital technology, that is really giving everyone the possibility to almost be there.
Indeed, for our television viewers, they're seeing...
Reiterated every time he made an appeal that war is a defeat. It's become a slogan.
You have read so often to him at the general audience, which was always an occasion for him to reiterate this appeal. And Francesca, you wrote that lovely farewell that we published on the web about the Pope of Peace, which particularly, I think, resonated with you.
I have to say that one of the things I learned reading at Pope Francis's audience is that his style of being closer to the people resonated in every aspect of his pontificate. So it was very clear when he said the words. And then in other smaller actions, it was clear to the people involved. And this is the case for the general audiences, because you may remember up until a few years ago, the readers at the general audiences were all monsignori, religious consecrated men who work within the Vatican walls. And Pope Francis changed that. And the readers became people like me. I'm a woman, I'm not a religious, not a consecrated woman. And all of a sudden, that audience and that stage, which before saw only
people in the church, you know, he's been trying to open to women, he's been so strong in reaching out to other religions, to other ecumenical denominations. I'd say perhaps this way of inclusion culminated in his call for the Synod on synodality, which is a process that is destined and that he has wanted to continue, which is asking the Church to include everyone, to listen to
countries that, when you think of Pope Francis and peace, you associate these countries to that. And
now I'm saying, we were talking about losing a voice for the forgotten. He was the only world leader who would never forget to mention ongoing conflicts that are completely out of the mainstream media. The altar to the fallen soldier.
And there were people all going all the way up the steps.
Big crowds there, big crowds. The larger area opened
And
up.
now we're going to start going down what is personally one of my favorites.
The idea of being to reach out to those who may have the least chance of seeing him or expecting to see him. That was his style.
And he'd go without a prepared text to engage there.
See these stunning images as he heads towards the Colosseum. He's just gone through the Roman Forum there. Takes place there at the Colosseum in a very symbolic and suggestive way.
Lanza, which is the word that inspires Fratelli Tutti, it means brotherhood. Fraternity. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. An economy of fraternity, and it is bringing together a lot of the things that we've spoken about. It's bringing together the poor and the marginalized and the people suffering on the other side of the world, in our case, us being here in the Vatican, who are suffering war, and often they're countries who are suffering economically, and it's calling to action and to responsibility the countries that can help.
Exactly. Denouncing the great divide that there is between the rich and the poor. How often has he said all the food that gets thrown away by affluent societies would be more than enough to feed the millions and millions of hungry people in the world. And here we have a view of the Colosseum as he goes up Via La Bicana.
Now he proceeds on Via La Bicana here, and we're getting closer to St. Mary Major. There's the main road that goes between the Cathedral of Rome, St. John Lateran, and Santa Maria la Mayor, St. Mary Major. He'll be coming up on that Via Medulana there. And here, so we're probably about 2/3 of the way there, I would say. And again, Pope Francis wished to be buried in the Basilica of St. Mary Major, and he wished to be buried next to the, has gone there to pray, to give thanks, to ask for prayers for his ministry. So he's been very dedicated to Our Lady, and in particular this icon there in the Basilica, and he will be buried next to that.
Such a long time ago.
And our television viewers here can see, we're back in the sunshine there. We were just on the Via Medulana. We went through, it's a tree-lined avenue, very pretty. And again, crowds on either side as more and more people are packed in there too.
I have to say, it's a very touching moment. It's almost difficult to know what to say.
I think most people can see and watch, but many people are also perhaps following on radio. Yes, there's a...
At the same time, it's a celebration of his life and ministry, and it's particularly poignant in this Jubilee of Hope as well, that he inaugurated, that he opened. And so I think, I would imagine that would be the, of course it is the key theme as well that we celebrate in a very special way at Easter at this time, a time of hope, of birth, new life, life in a new and transformed way. And so I think all today has been a wonderful tribute to Pope Francis and his ministry. And there we see the icon, Salus Populi Romani. It's a panel made of cedar wood. It's about 117 by 79 centimeters, more or less. It's quite large when you bring it down to the ground. It's mounted in the chapel there higher up, and it depicts a half figure of Our Lady with the child Jesus in her arms. And the icon again is especially dear to the Roman people and highly linked to the identity of Rome and the popes. And as we saw with Pope Francis, he had that special dedication to Our Lady in this icon of Rome.
He visited the Basilica just recently during his convalescence at Casa Santa Marta after he was discharged from the hospital on the 23rd of March. He actually, on his way back from the hospital, he stopped to pay tribute to Our Lady.
You see those arriving, some of the cardinals and prelates who are arriving here for this moment before the coffin is taken into the Basilica for burial. This moment that will take place here outside in front of the Basilica.
The Cardinal Camerlengo Camerlengo will again preside inside the Basilica at the final rite of interment, together obviously with other cardinals and prelates. The coffin has been set on a stand. I don't want to call it a catafalque because Pope Francis specifically asked that the whole rite be simplified, no catafalque. So it's honest. It truly is a simple coffin. It has a very simple cross engraved in it, a tiny coat of arms, and the seal of the Holy See.
I think it's being shown to the crowd, who, as you can hear, have applauded, and it's our final goodbye now.
Yep.
Before it's taken in procession into the basilica.
We hear the bells tolling. This was guards leading the procession.
Always present for the Pope's protection in every moment.
The Sistine Chapel Choir there accompany us as the coffin is being brought in procession into the basilica, the atrium leading now into the basilica, to be brought before the icon of the Salus Populi Romani. It's a simple tomb bearing only the inscription Franciscus, Francis, worthy to rest. Salus Populi Romani is found, and we have some children who are bringing a homage to the altar there, above which is the icon of Mary, recalling the flowers Pope Francis would bring in homage when he would go there to pray before an apostolic journey or to give thanks or to for special prayers. He has many visits there.
I think these must be roses that people have brought, because they were single rose, white roses on long stems, and as people probably brought those to lay on coffin close to him.
I think there was a group of people holding him outside the basilica when the coffin was being brought up. And now
As you said, he's saluting.
And now he's being taken close to the altar of St. Francis.